Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of SupplySide Showcase by RVBusiness. I'm Rick Kessler. With me is Chris Cieto. We're from RVBusiness, and joining the two of us today is Wade Seaburg. Wade is the Chief Revenue Officer for Dragonfly Energy, and I see a couple of other brands behind you in your background, Battleborn Batteries and Wake Speed. I believe those are the alternator regulators.
That's right. That's right.
Wade, welcome to the program. And if you don't mind starting with, how about an overview of Dragonfly Energy?
Sure. Thanks, Rick, and thanks, Chris, for having me today.
Sure.
So, overview of Dragonfly. So we always describe ourselves to people new as a comprehensive lithium battery company. And what that means when we say comprehensive is we started as a cell development company. And we quickly realized that we needed to bootstrap the business and generate some revenue. So we started building packs. That's our Battleborn brand that all of your community probably knows us as. We still have over 50 scientists and engineers that are executing on the cell development, but we've also really grown the system solution set with our Battleborn Batteries brand and all of our other accessories that we supply. And then a couple of years ago, we purchased Wake Speed, which is an advanced alternator regulator. There's so many second alternators being put on vehicles. There's intelligent batteries that are now included in vehicles. And understanding that relationship between the alternator and the battery is very critical to a successful execution of an energy storage system on board a whether it's a vehicle or a vessel, quite honestly. Hence the name Wake Speed. They got their start in the marine market.
And you're based in Nevada, correct?
Yeah, we're based out of Reno, Nevada. We're actually in the process of moving from a 100,000 square foot facility to a 400,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit extra space for growth, but what it also allows us to do is our R&D facility today is located in Sparks, Nevada, sister city to Reno, and we're able to put everything under one roof, which is will really gain some efficiencies. We've got some offsite raw material storage that we have to use today as well, so we'll be able to bring all of that under one roof, really gain some efficiencies, and be ready for growth.
I gotta say, I think this is the 10-year anniversary for you guys. This is a remarkable success story in a short amount of time.
Well, thanks. It's been quite a ride, right? It's been really hard. I will say that, but it's been really rewarding from the not only the customer experiences that we hear about, but also on the OEM side and the dealer side, which is largely who this audience is being able to open up possibilities for dealers to be able to upfit used units or be able to have a customer that comes in and says, hey, every campground I go to is full. I want to be able to boondock. Now they have a solution that they can match the customer expectation. And then on the OEM front, I always like to say, OEMs that are engineering deep, they can design the best electrical system out there, but it's prone to its weakest link. And if the weakest link is that lead acid battery that's being installed by the dealership, what our products allow the OEM to do is take 100% ownership of the customer experience and really build that unit the way they intended it to function from the very beginning. And that's been a fun experience. I'm an engineer by degree, and so problem solving is something that I find rewarding. And just ask my wife, right? I'm always trying to solve the problem, and she's like, I need you to just listen, right? Which is helpful for me, because when I get in front of a customer, it's helpful to be able to listen and understand what they're experiencing before you speak. But yeah, it's been a great experience, a great ride, and we're poised for the next decade.
Wade, thanks for sharing that. We were just talking about some of the earlier days with Dragonfly Energy and how you guys were sort of on the forefront of bringing lithium to a lead acid battery industry. And obviously there are cost differences there. There are challenges I'm sure that the company experienced early on. Tell us about that journey from um, taking the industry and educating them, plus providing a product that in a lot of ways operates better.
Yeah. Well, you hit it in that one word, education. So we really try to come at things with the heart of a teacher. We find that to be a really successful approach. Um, if we're not educating people on how systems work and what the nuances are within the system, we when we do that, we find that we get advocates internally to because they feel knowledge is power, right? And they then
Mhm.
can speak about it knowledgeably. But some of the challenges were, when you look at everything from, when I look at a battery system, we're looking at the charge points and then the load points. And the
Mhm.
charge points within a lead acid world, everything from the converters to the inverter chargers to the solar chargers, none of that was really ready for lithium batteries in the RV market. So we took a lot of time talking to all of the really seasoned suppliers within the marketplace to be able to work with them and say, hey, we need a slightly different charge profile, right? We don't need a brand new product, but most of those products were slightly customizable to where we can make them lithium ready. So really, since about 2019, 2020, most RVs have been built so that they're lithium ready. So that then they can have lithium batteries put in, and maybe a profile switch can be changed, or you can go into the settings and program it for lithium. So that's on the charge side. Then on the load side, you know, it's no secret that air conditioners are your biggest energy hog, right? Our utility bills go up in the summer because of it. And the air conditioning companies, you know, we really needed them to come forward with integrated soft starts into their
Mm.
systems so that then and it wasn't so much for the safety of the or the health of the battery, but it was more so if you want a boondock, you have to allow that rooftop air conditioner to go through the inverter charger. And the inverter charger would trip out when
Mhm.
that locked rotor current on the air conditioner would come on. When in your house, when your lights dip, that's that locked
Right.
rotor coming on. And that would send a fault signal to the inverter charger every single time. So, with lead acid, you never dream of running your air conditioner off of a lead acid battery bank because you'd make it maybe an hour, right? And with
Right.
lithium, it opened up that possibility, but we had to make sure that the consumers of that power, the air conditioner, and all the other appliance loads were tweaked a little bit so that they could properly execute that platform. And it's been great. I think every single air conditioner that's sold into the market now is being sold with an integrated soft start.
Mhm.
The when you first came onto the scene, one of the challenges, and Chris mentioned this, was lithium batteries were a little bit more expensive than the traditional lead acid. That has since improved. The economies of scales have been able to kick in somewhat, but
Yep.
you guys have always been about the value proposition, specifically convincing RVers that this is a better mousetrap. The lithium battery offers you such a well. I'll let you say it. What are the benefits of lithium?
Yeah. So thanks, Rick. The benefits are very significant, right? So you get about 5 times the life of a battery, right? Our warranty is a 10-year warranty on the battery. You get, and that's 3,000 to 5,000 charge cycles. So even after that 10 years and after that cycle life, you still have about 85% of the battery still there. It's just you're not going to get the full 100%. And then within the charge cycle, you're going to get about 3 times longer of a charge cycle. I like to say the lead acid guys might get mad at me for this, but you know what we put on the label is truth, right? We put that you have 100 amp hours on the label, and you can use all 100 amp hours of our battery. Many manufacturers will put a amp hour rating on the battery, but if you read the directions, it says, do not take the battery down below 50%. Well, if I've got a 100 amp hour battery, but I can only use 50% of it, do I really have a 100 amp hour battery? So
Right.
that's been something that we've been trying to really educate consumers on and be able to tell that full story. So you are able to use 100% depth of discharge. So in order to equate to the same amount of power of one 100 amp hour battery, you really need two lead acid batteries to get there. And then on the charge side, lithium batteries are 99% efficient on the charge factor. And the way that I describe that is when you charge a lead acid battery, if you touch the sides of it, they're kind of warm to the touch. Everybody that went through science class knows that heat is energy lost, right? So we're losing energy during that charging process. That's that efficiency. Now, on lithium batteries, on ours in particular, I could speak to, you don't get that warming effect because almost everything that hits the positive and negative stab gets put into storage. And so you're able to charge the battery significantly faster, whether that's solar, alternator, or shore power.
The other thing too, they're significantly lighter.
Yes, absolutely. About a third of the weight of an equivalent lead acid battery.
And
Yep,
are they less susceptible to impacts by the weather, by cold specifically?
Yeah, so we put out a white paper a number of years ago on cold temperature, both charging and discharging. So on the discharge side, they're much better in freezing climates. So if you're in freezing climates and you got a full lead acid battery and a full lithium battery, you're going to get much more power out of your lithium battery than you are your lead acid battery. Now on the charging side, lithium batteries have electronics inside of them. They have a BMS. They have a lot of that BMS typically has a lot of characteristics in order to maintain the battery and keep it safe, right? Both from the environment that it's in, but also keep it safe for the user and maintain the lifespan of that battery. So we do not allow the battery to charge if internal to the battery is below 25 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's because when you charge a lithium battery, when you charge any battery in a freezing climate, you damage the battery slightly, like you shorten the lifespan of it. And so we recognized early on, like some of our very first OEM installs, we had heat wraps that we worked with the guys that make the tank heaters, right? We worked with them to design a heat wrap that would go around our battery that would heat it properly. And you couldn't use just an off-the-shelf battery. Like they made battery wraps, but you couldn't use an off-the-shelf battery wrap because when you think about a lead acid battery, there's a liquid electrolyte right on the other side of the plastic. That liquid electrolyte acts as a good heat transfer to pull the heat all the way through the battery that's from the outside. Well, on a lithium battery, there's air on the other side of the plastic. Air is a horrible heat transfer. And so if you use the same wrap, you would get deformation on the plastic, you would get hot spots there. So we had to really work that. And then we kind of, as the battery evolved and the solution evolved, we said, hey, look, we really need to put the heat inside of the battery and be smart about this. So we were the first ones to put heat internal to the battery, and now everybody's pretty much followed suit.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Chris?
Well, Wade, this is kind of a two-parter for you. So we talked about that Dragonfly was there early on the scene in our industry for lithium, and I'm sure there are. You weren't the only one, but being one of the first, you obviously have had some market growth and share. And once people saw the success of what you were doing, now there are a lot of companies entering into that market. So tell us a little bit about not only market share growth and people adopting Battleborn, but also the competition aspect of an industry that's becoming increasingly competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. So to touch on the latter part of that question first, on the competition side, we're a premium brand. There's no doubt about it. You go and stack us up, we're one of the most expensive brands out there. But the main reason for a lot of that is we're US made, right? We make
Hmm.
all of our batteries in Reno, Nevada. We make them as safe as possible. We sacrifice a few things for safety. We know we inherently sacrifice energy density because we use very reliable stainless steel cylindrical cells. But safety is not something that we're willing to skimp on. It's not something that we're willing to because and honestly, any setback for any lithium battery company is a setback for all of us.
Sure.
And that's really how we viewed it, and a responsible partner to the industry. For the first part of your question, the market share and the growth there, we do business with three of the big four, right? Winnebago
Mhm.
obviously owns their own battery company, so they're kind of captive. But we do business with Thor, with Forest River, with Rev Group. We do business with a number of independents from New Camp to Ember,
Mm.
a number of horse trailer manufacturers. As far as it's really hard to tabulate the market share of lithium out there, but we still view lead acid as our biggest competition,
Hmm.
right? There's still the dominant player in the RV market is still lead acid batteries, and
Mm.
you know the folks that want to put together, like, Ember, I think brands theirs Max Solar, their Max Solar package, or Solar Flex on the Keystone side, right? There's a lot of branding that's going on out there about their packages, and all of that is really great and feeding into our growth, and we're really happy to participate. One of the one of the things that's really helped propel our growth is our full system integration work that we do.
Yeah.
So where we have the most success, we have about a 0.5% warranty company wide. That's selling batteries to the guy that's blindly buying it and
Wow.
never touches anybody at Dragonfly and just orders it online, to the OEM that does full integration. But at the OEM level, the ones that invite us in and are willing to open up to us about what they really want to do, and are willing to take our recommendations and our suggestions, we have less than 0.25% of a warranty rate on on our systems. And that's phenomenal in this industry for a new product and a new technology. So we're really proud of that. And but in order to get there, we do quality control checks that a lot of other battery folks don't do, right? We're testing the BMS before it goes into the battery. We designed it. We don't make circuit boards though, so we contract manufacture that out. But every single element of that battery is tested and goes through rigorous UL listing certifications. I mean, you know, we knew from early on, from my experience in the RV industry as well as others, look, we're going to have to get involved with RVIA. We're going to have to help guide
Hmm.
the industry through this process. Selection of which UL listings were appropriate at the time, and understanding the safety and the construction of batteries is something that, at its core, the RV industry didn't have that knowledge.
Right.
So we really jumped in with both feet. The only way that I really know how to do anything, right, is just jump right in, and used our relationships that we had built throughout the industry to gain that acceptance on that technical subcommittee. And whether it's RVTI level 3 training that we put on for dealers and their technicians, or whatever aspect of it, we want to make sure that there is really safe and reliable deployment of our systems.
Wade, I was going to ask you what's the differentiation? What makes the Battle-Born batteries better than the competition? But I think you've already covered that well. So I want to give you this platform. Well, I don't know, a word of caution. The
Yeah.
the foreign lithium batteries that are
Yep.
coming in
Yep.
to our market, um, they're
I
not
saw
always
my
good.
first I saw my first one on Amazon for under $200, and I was blown away by it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? Look, everything from the shipment of those batteries to the construction of those batteries um makes me nervous, right? We order our competitors' batteries that we see on third-party platforms all the time, right? You have to ship a lithium battery with proper hazmat shipping labels on it. Like, when you get something from Amazon that's done the right way, it's got those stickers on the side of it, right? It says lithium battery. Like, you've seen those. You probably had components arrive at your home that have that. you have to have what's called UN 38.3 testing done on your battery. Well, a lot of these imports, they don't have any of that, right? They're shipping from a warehouse locally, domestically here in the US, right? And they're shipping as if it's a parcel of fabric, right? And no, there is hazardous material inside of that box. And then, you know, you put a similar warranty to ours on there, but call somebody, right? Ask them the question, because it'll probably work in the first year. It might work in the second year, but it's not going to work for the lifetime of that warranty. And that's what's troubling to us is when we see, because we field calls all the time, right? They know we'll pick up the phone. They know we'll help them with their questions. That's what I preach to my sales technicians is, guys, look, help them, because when you solve their problems, they're going to come back to you once it fails on them eventually.
Yeah.
But we'll be talking to them, and we know through that experience that it's not working out the way that they planned. And it's awful to think that people spend their really hard-earned income on these products, and they could have done better, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and Wade, I wanted to ask you, so we all know it's been a tougher year in retail sales of
Sure.
RVs for the dealerships. So it's not the years of COVID where sales were coming in easy. And a large theme in talking with dealers is not only retail sales, but also profit centers within the dealership that they can leverage to create a center of profitability with different products, whether that's on the F&I side or whether that's on parts. Talk a little bit about how dealers can leverage lithium, because as you mentioned, the biggest competitor in the market is still lead acid.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done more dealer trainings in these first 3 quarters of 2024 than any of the first 3 quarters that we had. And that's I think indicative of just that. And what dealers are able to do is they're able to potentially take a modestly used coach in on trade,
Yes.
right? And upfit that with a new energy system that meets the customer's expectations. And when customer comes in, like, the key is, all right, hey, what's your intention with this unit? Are you going to be a pole to pole user, meaning you're going to hook up at a pedestal and use shore power and travel for a day and then end up at a campground again that has power? In that case, like, you don't need a big storage vessel of energy, right? You just need enough really to keep the refrigerator cool while you're trailering to the next location. But if your intention is to use Harvest Host, to use some of these other platforms and want to have your power available, then you say, hey, give us a couple of days, whatever the service backlog is, right? We'll upfit it. Here's what the number is of what it's going to cost to do it right and do it the way you want. And it gives the dealers another avenue for revenue that's significantly greater than anything that they could garner with a lead acid system. It also brings that customer back to them because they have a great positive experience when that coach is maybe towards its end of life and they're ready to upgrade, or their family's grown, or whatever the conditions may be. I think the opportunity for dealer upfits is greater now than it's ever been, especially on the units that are really selling right now, which are your lower cost decontented units, your travel trailers that are moving out the door off the dealer lots.
Yeah. Wade, this has been a tremendous education for me. I appreciate it. Wish you continued success for Dragonfly. Can't wait to see Dr. Dennis again.
Yeah, he's hard at work in the lab. I talked to him a couple of times today. We're really excited about the prospects of bringing and onshoring cell manufacturing here to the United States. All of that technology right now is over in Asia, and the ability for both from a national security perspective to simply just being able to harness our natural resources. People ask me all the time, is there plenty of lithium available? I said, absolutely, especially once we start looking for it. I mean, we find new oil deposits and natural gas deposits all the time, but it's because we're actively looking for it and trying to find it, right? Once we start looking for the lithium, we'll find it. It's in the ground. The biggest deposit is in the world is on the border of Oregon and Nevada, and GM paid
Really?
GM paid $600 million to be able to get access to all of it. So I mean, it's there. We just have to we just have to embrace the technology and we have to be able to build it here. We can't send that raw material overseas to be processed and built into batteries and then import it again. We need U.S. manufacturing to be deployed here, and that's something that we're really proud of. Is employing a few hundred Americans to be able to build batteries here in the U.S.
I think with that we're catching the tail end here of our broadcast. So I want to thank you once more, Wade, for the time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys, and have a great afternoon.